Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has hidden unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure, or admire an old one. What will we find today? Let's dig in. Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
With a name like Mephibosheth, one fear would be that no one would ever be able to spell or pronounce his name right. But he had much more to fear. He was the only surviving heir of the old king, Saul, and the new king, David, had come to power. Not that he had anything to do with that. He was only 5 years old when King Saul died, and the whole kingdom was turned upside down. His nurse and the rest of the household, knowing new kings usually got rid of all competition, fled. Somehow, in all the confusion, Mephibosheth fell and became lame in both feet. For years, Mephibosheth lived in hiding, sheltered by Machir, probably a friend of the family. Machir and probably Mephibosheth thought he was safe there. The new king wouldn't feel threatened by a lame man, surely. He was plenty far enough away from Jerusalem, too. Besides, King David was incredibly popular. God was with him. Mephibosheth just wanted to stay under the radar and live his life. But one day, soldiers showed up at Machir's house, asking for Mephibosheth. The king had sent for him. I'm sure when he heard this, fear gripped his heart. He had escaped as a child, but now there was nowhere to run, even if he could run, which he couldn't, since he was crippled. So Mephibosheth traveled to Jerusalem with the king's men. We don't know if he could walk or if he was carried into the king's presence, but he immediately fell on his face before King David, probably expecting retribution of some kind because of how his grandfather Saul had treated David. Instead, he got grace. You see, Mephibosheth wasn't just Saul's grandson, but Jonathan's son, and Jonathan was David's best friend. David hadn't sent for him out of anger, a desire for revenge, or because he perceived him as a threat. David had sought out Mephibosheth to his throne room to bless him. David greeted Mephibosheth with, "Do not fear." Can you imagine what a relief those words were to this lame, helpless man? "Do not fear, for I will surely show you kindness for Jonathan your father's sake, and will restore to you all the land of Saul your grandfather, and you shall eat bread at my table continually." Later he added, "He shall eat at my table like one of the king's sons." I love Mephibosheth because he's such a picture of who we are to the Lord. We are enemies of God, full of sin, helpless to do anything on our own. We may even try to hide from God like Mephibosheth hid from David. But one day, the Lord calls us before him and offers us the position of son and daughter in his household, to live with him and eat at his table forever. What a privilege! We come to him with fear and trembling, but find grace, mercy, love. As undeserving as we are, we're not even worthy to stay in the servants' quarters and clean his house, but he makes it our permanent dwelling. We aren't worthy to be his slaves, but he calls us sons and daughters. We have nothing to fear and everything to gain, just like Mephibosheth did.
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to share a treasure God has given you by doing an episode, please contact us. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you'll find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.